In recent months, one of Elon Musk's most ambitious projects has once again become the center of growing attention, something many people had been expecting for years. More and more details are leaking online about the new version of Tesla Optimus, the humanoid robot which, according to sources close to the company, is intended to become not just another technological device, but the first truly mass-market human-like assistant powered by a new generation of artificial intelligence. While just a year ago, many people viewed these claims mostly as beautiful Tesla marketing, the situation is now changing literally before everyone's eyes. Insiders, former company employees, Wall Street analysts, and even some component suppliers are beginning to say the same thing. Tesla is genuinely preparing something extremely unusual behind closed doors. Something so unusual that even the company's own employees reportedly were not prepared for the reaction of people who saw the new version of the robot in person for the first time. According to several technology publications, including sources close to former engineers from Tesla AI division, earlier this year, the company held a series of private demonstrations of the new Optimus for investors, suppliers, and a limited circle of partners. And it was precisely after these demonstrations that strange comments began appearing online. People described what they saw in almost identical ways. They said the robot was both fascinating and disturbing at the same time. Some called it too alive. Others compared the feeling to the uncanny valley effect that robotics and psychology experts have discussed for decades. But the most surprising part is that Tesla apparently moved deliberately in exactly this direction. While earlier versions of Optimus looked like classic futuristic robots with metallic bodies, exposed mechanisms, and intentionally artificial designs, the new version has reportedly changed radically. According to insiders, the company decided to bring the robot's appearance as close to a human as possible. And this is not simply about smoother body lines or more realistic movement. The new Optimus allegedly received arms and legs that are almost impossible to distinguish from human ones at a distance. But the element that caused the greatest shock among attendees of the private showcase was the robot's skin. Yes, skin, or, technically speaking, a special next-generation synthetic material designed to imitate the structure of human skin. According to sources, Tesla spent several years developing this project together with materials specialists and neural network experts. The main goal was to make the robot stop being perceived as a machine and instead become viewed as a natural household assistant. Elon Musk reportedly personally insisted that people would psychologically find it easier to interact with a device that is visually and physically closer to a human being. But the exact opposite happened. According to people who attended the private presentation, when Optimus first walked onto the stage, the room reportedly fell silent. Some people even thought they were looking at a real human. Only when the robot turned its head did it become clear that it was a machine. One participant in the presentation later anonymously told journalists that this exact moment created a feeling of discomfort for many people, because the movements were too smooth, the skin looked too realistic, and the robot's hands moved almost exactly like human hands. At the same time, instead of a face, Optimus still had Tesla's signature black screen, and this contrast between a human-like body and a faceless digital head became genuinely disturbing for many observers. Interestingly, specialists have long warned about precisely this effect. The so-called uncanny valley describes a situation where an object looks almost human, but not completely. And it is exactly this almost that creates anxiety in people. The human brain begins perceiving such a robot as something fundamentally wrong. Not a machine, but not a living being either. That is why many companies, including Japanese corporations, spent years avoiding excessively realistic humanoid designs. But Tesla decided to take the risk. According to insiders, Elon Musk believes humanity will inevitably arrive at coexistence with human-like robots anyway. Moreover, according to analysts from Morgan Stanley and Wedbush Securities, Tesla has long stopped viewing Optimus as a side project and instead sees it as potentially the most profitable product in the company's history. Some investors even believe that in the future, the robot market could become dozens of times larger than the electric vehicle market. And that is exactly why Tesla is trying to secure a leadership position before everyone else. However, the problem is not only the appearance. The main revolution of the new Optimus is supposed to be its intelligence. According to sources, the new version of the robot will be built on the next generation of Grok, the artificial intelligence system from Elon Musk's company, xAI. And this is what makes the situation especially interesting. While previous versions of Optimus mostly performed pre-programmed actions and heavily relied on fixed scenarios, the new robot is reportedly capable of learning in real time, analyzing human behavior, and adapting to its environment. Some insiders even claim that Tesla is testing a digital personality system in which the robot will be able to remember the owner's habits, family characteristics, communication style, and gradually become more individualized over time. And here another huge question emerges. How far is the company willing to go in its attempt to make the robot as human-like as possible? According to technology analysts, the new Optimus received completely redesigned hands with an incredibly complex actuator system. Tesla engineers reportedly spent years trying to replicate the structure of the human hand because hands remain the main problem for most modern humanoids. Robots can walk, carry boxes, and perform simple tasks, but manipulating small objects remains an extremely difficult challenge. The new version of Optimus is rumored to be capable of performing actions that previously seemed impossible for a household robot. For example, threading a needle, folding clothes, cutting food, using home appliances, assembling complex objects, and even helping people with disabilities. Sources claim that during one test, the robot independently prepared breakfast while simultaneously maintaining a conversation with engineers. And this is exactly what is beginning to frighten some experts, because for the first time in history, a robot is no longer starting to look like a tool and is instead beginning to resemble something intermediate between a machine and a human. According to analysts from MIT Technology Review, the problem is not only the design, the problem is that society may psychologically not be ready for such realistic humanoid systems, especially considering the speed of artificial intelligence development. After the release of the latest versions of Grok, OpenAI GPT, and Gemini, many experts have already begun saying that AI is developing faster than expected. And now, imagine that intelligence inside a physical body, capable of moving around, interacting with objects, and performing real actions inside a home. According to insiders, this is exactly the concept Tesla is now trying to implement. Interestingly, the company itself officially confirms almost nothing, but indirect signs are becoming increasingly obvious. Tesla is actively hiring specialists in biomechanics, synthetic materials, neural networks, and even human behavioral psychology. In addition, over the last several months, the company has sharply increased purchases of special sensor components and micro-actuators. According to some analysts, this could indicate that Tesla is indeed close to a fully functional prototype of the new Optimus. But there is one problem: people's reactions. According to several sources, after the private demonstrations, Tesla reportedly began serious internal discussions regarding the robot's design. Some engineers allegedly believe the company has gone too far in its attempt to make Optimus resemble a human. Moreover, rumors have appeared claiming that the robot's release could be delayed precisely because of the mixed reactions. And this is where things become especially interesting, because according to insiders, Elon Musk holds the exact opposite position. He reportedly believes that initial fear is a normal reaction to any revolutionary technology. Inside the company, they are even discussing historical parallels. When the first automobiles appeared, people were afraid of them as well. When the first smartphones appeared, many claimed they would destroy society. Now, humanity cannot imagine life without them. According to sources, Musk believes the same thing will happen with robots. Moreover, some analysts close to Tesla claim that the company is intentionally making Optimus slightly provocative, because fear and shock generate enormous attention around the product. And attention is Tesla's main weapon. And if this is true, then the strategy is clearly working. Videos and rumors surrounding the new Optimus are already beginning to explode across social media. People are arguing about how far robotics should go. Some call it the beginning of a new era. Others consider what is happening to be a dangerous experiment. Some are even convinced that humanity is moving far too quickly toward a world that until recently existed only in science fiction. The issue of the skin is being discussed especially actively. According to leaks, Tesla is using a multi-layer synthetic material with a microheating system and imitation human skin texture. The material is capable of slightly changing temperature, responding to touch, and even imitating minimal surface movements. According to eyewitnesses, this is exactly what makes Optimus feel so realistic. But this creates a new problem. If a robot becomes too similar to a human, people begin expecting human behavior from it, which means that any mistake, movement delay, or unnatural reaction causes far stronger discomfort than it would with an ordinary machine. Some psychologists are already warning that the mass appearance of such robots could seriously change the behavior of society, especially children, because children become emotionally attached to objects that appear alive. If Optimus truly becomes a mass-market household assistant, the consequences could turn out to be far larger than many people expect. But Tesla appears ready to go even further. According to insiders, the company is already testing several versions of Optimus. One of them is more robotic and safer from a perception standpoint. Another is designed to be maximally close to a human. And right now, Tesla is reportedly debating internally which version should be released first. It is also interesting that competitors are starting to become seriously nervous. Companies from China, Japan, and the United States are actively developing their own humanoids, but most of them still look like classic robots. Tesla, meanwhile, is attempting to create an entirely new category of devices. According to analysts from Bank of America, if the company truly manages to establish mass production of Optimus, it could become a moment comparable to the arrival of the iPhone, because this is not just about a robot. It is about a digital being with artificial intelligence capable of physically interacting with the world. According to some sources, Tesla expects to begin limited production of the new version of Optimus within the next 2 years. However, a mass release could be delayed because of issues related to design, safety, and public reaction. As for the price, estimates vary significantly. Elon Musk previously stated that in the future, Optimus could cost less than a car. Some analysts believe the starting price of the first versions could be around $25,000 to $30,000. Others are convinced that the more realistic version with synthetic skin and advanced AI could cost significantly more. But even at a high price, demand could turn out to be enormous, especially among wealthy users, technology enthusiasts, and companies, because Optimus is capable of replacing several workers at once. According to experts, this is exactly what will become the main driver of the future revolution. Imagine a robot that can work 20 hours a day, never gets tired, constantly learns, and at the same time is capable of performing both physical and intellectual work. This is exactly the concept Tesla is now promoting. Moreover, according to rumors, discussions are already taking place inside the company about a future in which robots become more important than cars. Some analysts even believe that within 10 to 15 years, Optimus could generate more money for Tesla than the company's entire automotive business. If that truly happens, humanity could find itself on the verge of the biggest technological transformation since the Industrial Revolution. But along with this come new fears. What will happen if such robots begin massively replacing people? How will the labor market change? What will happen to professions? How can governments control machines that are this intelligent? And the main question, are people even ready to live alongside beings that look almost human, yet are not human at all? Perhaps this is exactly why reactions to the new Optimus turned out to be so mixed. Tesla wanted to create the perfect assistant of the future. But the closer the robot becomes to a human, the more people begin to fear their own creation. Perhaps right now we are witnessing a moment that in the future will be remembered as the beginning of an entirely new era. But the most interesting part is that inside Tesla itself, according to several former employees of the company, there are now supposedly 2 separate camps. The first believes the project must be accelerated at any cost because the company has a unique chance to become the absolute leader of a new industry. The second believes humanity is simply not ready for robots that are this realistic, and that launching them too quickly could turn into a disaster for the company's reputation. This is not about a technical disaster, but specifically about the psychological reaction of people. According to insiders, after the closed demonstrations, some Tesla employees began directly comparing Optimus to characters from science fiction films. One engineer reportedly even joked that the robot looked like it had stepped out of a movie set 50 years in the future. And the most curious thing is that many people present at the demonstration said almost exactly the same thing. While the robot stands still, it looks impressive. But the moment it begins moving and interacting with a person, it starts to feel as if you are no longer facing a machine, but something completely new. What shocked people the most were the eyes, or rather, their absence, because this is where Tesla retained its signature futuristic approach. Despite the highly human-like body and skin, Optimus still has a black screen instead of a face. And according to eyewitnesses, this contrast creates an incredibly strange sensation. A human body, human movements, human hands, but an entirely digital face without emotions. Some participants of the private presentation said this looked even more disturbing than a fully robotic design. This creates a very interesting situation. According to sources, Tesla originally tested several face options for the new Optimus. One prototype reportedly even featured minimal animated human facial expressions. But according to rumors, this version triggered the most negative reaction from focus groups. People said the robot looked too alive and became uncomfortable to interact with after only a few minutes. As a result, the company decided to keep the signature screen in order to preserve a visual boundary between human and machine. But as it turned out, even that is not enough. Some robotics specialists believe Tesla may have accidentally approached a very dangerous psychological zone, because Optimus is beginning to break fundamental human perception. Our brains are used to quickly separating the living from the non-living. But Tesla's new robot destroys that boundary, especially once it starts moving. According to leaks, the company has achieved enormous progress in motor control systems. The new Optimus is reportedly capable of moving with microscopic balance corrections, characteristic of humans. It slightly changes body position, shifts weight, adapts its step, and even imitates natural pauses in movement. And this is exactly what makes it feel so realistic. Previously, most humanoids moved too perfectly. Humans, on the other hand, constantly make tiny chaotic movements. And Tesla apparently learned how to replicate that. Some analysts are calling this the iPhone moment for robotics. Because before this, humanoids looked like machines. Now Tesla is attempting for the first time to create a device that will be perceived as a genuine presence alongside a human being. And once again, Grok plays an enormous role here. According to sources, the new version of xAI's artificial intelligence became one of the key reasons why Optimus changed so dramatically. Previously, the robot simply executed commands, but now Tesla is reportedly focusing on constant interaction. Optimus is supposed not only to understand speech, but also analyze context, emotions, the owner's habits, and even anticipate actions. For example, if a person places a cup in the same spot every evening, the robot begins automatically taking that into account. If the owner prefers a certain communication style, Optimus gradually adapts its speech. If a child is afraid of the robot, the AI reduces movement intensity and changes its behavior style. This is exactly the concept Tesla is reportedly testing right now, according to rumors, and it already looks like the beginning of an entirely new era. Some experts compare what is happening to the first appearance of smartphones. Back then, people also did not understand how deeply devices would transform society. But in the case of Optimus, the changes could be even more significant, because a smartphone is a tool in a person's hand. A robot, on the other hand, is the physical presence of artificial intelligence in the real world. It is also interesting that Tesla is reportedly preparing Optimus not only for home use. According to several insiders, dozens of application scenarios are currently being actively discussed inside the company. Logistics, healthcare, elderly assistance, factory work, hotel services, security, delivery, construction, assistance for people with disabilities. Tesla wants Optimus to become a universal platform. This is precisely why the company is so obsessed with human-like hands, because the entire world is built for humans. Every door handle, tool, device, piece of furniture, and vehicle was designed for the human hand. If a robot has hands that closely resemble human hands, it automatically gains access to almost all existing infrastructure. According to analysts at Goldman Sachs, this could give Tesla a massive advantage over competitors. Most companies are building robots for specific tasks. Tesla, however, is trying to create a universal humanoid assistant. But the more universal Optimus becomes, the more questions arise in society, especially after rumors that Tesla is allegedly testing emotional responses in the robot. According to leaks, some versions of Grok for Optimus may be able to simulate emotional support. The robot can adjust tone, voice, and communication style depending on a person's emotional state. And although Tesla does not officially confirm this, many experts are already beginning to discuss the potential for emotional dependence on AI. Because if a robot looks almost human, speaks like a human, and is constantly nearby, the brain begins to perceive it differently from a regular machine. Some psychologists warn that such technologies could radically change social behavior, especially among lonely individuals. Even today, neural networks already create emotional attachment for millions of users. Now imagine the same artificial intelligence, but in a physical body. Elon Musk, according to leaks, fully understands these risks, but considers them an inevitable part of the future. Moreover, according to insiders, he believes that within the next 15 to 20 years, humanoid robots will become as common as smartphones or cars today. Some signs indeed suggest that Tesla is preparing for an extremely large-scale launch. The company is actively expanding production of actuators, sensors, and batteries. Suppliers in Asia report sharply increased orders for components for humanoid systems. In addition, Tesla continues to build its own artificial intelligence infrastructure and supercomputers for neural network training. According to analysts, Optimus will require enormous computational power because the robot must not only move, but also analyze the surrounding world in real time. Object recognition, balance, speech, and prediction of human behavior all require massive computation. Here, Tesla gains an advantage thanks to its experience in autopilot systems. In fact, the company is using many autonomous driving technologies to build the robot. Cameras, neural networks, spatial understanding of the world, all of this has been developed inside Tesla for years. Now these technologies are simply being transferred from the car into a humanoid body. This is why some analysts believe competitors have seriously underestimated the company, because Tesla has unexpectedly become one of the closest players to creating a mass-market human-like AI. But the main question remains the same. Are people themselves ready for this? Because one thing is seeing a robot at an exhibition, but something completely different is waking up at night and seeing in a dark room the silhouette of a humanoid Optimus, calmly standing near the wall in standby mode. And it is precisely such discussions that are now rapidly spreading across the internet. Some people already dream of buying such an assistant. Others say they would never allow such a machine into their home. Some see Optimus as the beginning of a golden era of technology. Others see it as the first step toward a highly dangerous future. But regardless of how one feels about the project, one thing is becoming obvious. Tesla has already stopped treating Optimus as an experiment. According to sources, inside the company, the robot is being considered as the future foundation of Elon Musk's entire ecosystem. Electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, home systems, energy, robotics, all of this is gradually being merged into a single platform. If even half of the rumors about the new Optimus turn out to be true, then humanity may indeed be only a few steps away from a moment that will change technological history forever.